14 years later I went back to Jerusalem again, this time with Barnabas, and Titus came along, too. I went there because God revealed to me that I should go. While I was there, I met privately with those considered to be leaders of the church and shared with them the message I had been preaching to the Gentiles. I wanted to make sure that we were in agreement, for fear that all my efforts had been wasted and I was running the race for nothing. And they supported me and did not even demand that my companion Titus be circumcised, though he was a Gentile. My concern was because of the false brothers, those people masquerading as Christians, who had been secretly smuggled in to the community of believers. They had slipped in to spy on the freedom which we have in Christ Jesus, in order to bring us back into bondage, under the law of Moses. But we refused to give in to them for a single moment. We wanted to preserve the truth of the gospel message for you. As for those who were considered important in the church, their reputation doesn't concern me. God isn't impressed with mere appearances, and neither am I. And of course these leaders were able to add nothing to the message I had been preaching. It was soon evident that God had entrusted me with the same message to the non-Jews as Peter had been preaching to the Jews. Recognizing that my calling had been given by God, James, Peter, and John, the pillars of the church, shook hands with me and Barnabas, assigning us to a ministry to the non-Jews, while they continued to be responsible for reaching out to the Jews. The only additional thing they asked was that we remember the poor, and I was already eager to do that. But when Peter came to Antioch, I had to oppose him to his face, for what he did was very wrong. When he first arrived, he ate with the Gentile believers, who were not circumcised. But afterward, when some friends of James came, Peter wouldn't eat with the Gentiles anymore. He was afraid of criticism from these people who insisted on the necessity of circumcision. The other Jews joined him in his hypocrisy, so that by their hypocrisy even Barnabas was led astray. But when I saw that they were not walking in line with the truth of the good news, I said to Peter in front of everyone, "If you, being a Jew, live like the Gentiles and not like the Jews, how can you force the Gentiles to live like Jews? We were born as Jewish people. We are not Gentiles who have never obeyed God's rules. Know that a person is not justified by the works of the law, but by faith in Jesus Christ. So we, too, have put our faith in Christ Jesus that we may be justified by faith in Christ and not by the works of the law, because by the works of the law no one will be justified. If we are those who desire to be righteous through our union with the Anointed One, does that mean our Messiah condones sin even though we acknowledge that we are sinners? How absurd! For if I start over and reconstruct the old religious system that I had torn down with the message of grace, I would appear to be a lawbreaker. For through the law I died to the law and its demands on me, because salvation is provided through the death and resurrection of Christ, so that I might, from now on, live to God. I have been crucified with Christ, that is, in him I have shared his crucifixion. It is no longer I who live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body I live by faith, by adhering to, relying on, and completely trusting in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself up for me. I do not ignore or nullify the gracious gift of the grace of God, his amazing, unmerited favor, for if righteousness comes through observing the law, then Christ died needlessly. His suffering and death would have had no purpose whatsoever.